Picture a car so unwanted that, at the pace it's actually selling, the dealer won't clear his lot until sometime around the year 2029. That's not a rusted-out junker. That's not some forgotten orphan brand nobody's heard of. That's a brand-new Toyota from the company that normally can't build cars fast enough to keep up with demand. Something strange is happening on dealer lots across America in 2026. Cars are rolling off the transport truck, getting parked in the back row, and then just sitting month after month. A few of these are genuinely bad. Some are actually good cars that nobody wants, and a couple are quietly becoming the best deals in the country. Here are 7 of them. Let's start at number 7. Number 7, Chevrolet Blazer EV. The Blazer EV was supposed to be Chevy's mainstream electric hit, the accessible, good-looking electric crossover that got normal people into a GM EV. Instead, it spent most of its life apologizing for itself. Right now, it's sitting on lots with a market day supply of around 257 days, and dealers moved only about 492 of them in the last 45-day window. For a vehicle wearing a Chevrolet bow tie, that is a brutal number. Here's the thing about the Blazer EV that most buyers still remember. It launched, and then almost immediately, Chevy had to stop selling it. Back in its first model year, GM issued a stop sale over software problems. Infotainment screens going dark, charging glitches, cars throwing error messages on delivery. When the very first impression a vehicle makes is, "Please don't drive this yet, we need to fix it," that reputation sticks like tar. Chevy has since patched most of it, and the current car is genuinely much better. But the buyers don't know that. They just remember the headlines. Add in the price. A well-equipped Blazer EV can push well past the low to mid-50s, and once the federal EV tax credit disappeared in late 2025, that number stopped being softened by $7,500 of government money. Suddenly, buyers are staring at a mid-50s price tag for a Chevy, next to a Tesla Model Y that costs less and has a charging network that actually works. You can see why it sits. If you're a buyer, though, this is where it gets interesting. A 257-day supply means the dealer is desperate, and GM has been layering on incentives, lease cash, and cheap financing to move them. The Blazer EV might be the best value car on this entire list, precisely because everyone still thinks it's the broken one from 2 years ago. But that's the mild case. The next one is a car people genuinely love in reviews and still won't buy. Number 6, Genesis G90. There is no logical reason the Genesis G90 should be a slow seller. On paper, it is one of the most car-for-your-money luxury flagships on earth. It undercuts a Mercedes S-Class or a BMW 7 Series by tens of thousands of dollars. The interior is a genuine event. Massaging seats, hand-stitched everything, a rear cabin that feels like a first-class lounge, and reviewers routinely say it's better built than cars costing $40,000 more. And it's rotting. Market day supply sits around 236 days, with only about 124 sold in the last measured stretch. So what's going on? 2 things, and neither is the car's fault. First, this is a full-size luxury sedan, and the luxury sedan is a dying body style in America. Buyers who can afford a $90,000 Genesis want an SUV, a GV80, an Escalade, a big 3-row throne. Nobody's cross-shopping a low-slung executive sedan anymore, no matter how good it is. Second, and this is the killer, badge insecurity. The person spending 6 figures on a flagship is, whether they admit it or not, partly buying the logo on the hood. They want the valet to notice. They want the 3-pointed star, or the blue and white roundel. And Genesis, for all its brilliance, does not yet carry that weight in the parking lot. So the G90 sits there being objectively excellent and commercially invisible. If you don't care what the neighbors think and you want the most luxury per dollar in America, walk onto that lot and make a lowball offer. The dealer will not fight you. Now, number 6 is a case of a great car nobody wants. Number 5 is a car that a lot of people did want until the math changed overnight. Number 5, Kia EV6. The Kia EV6 was, not long ago, a darling. Sharp styling, blistering fast charging, a genuinely fun drive. It won awards, it turned heads, it made Kia look like the future. Fast forward to 2026, and it's carrying a market day supply of roughly 449 days, with barely 100 units moving in the last cycle. That is a spectacular fall from grace for a car that was once hard to get. What happened here is the whole EV story of 2026 in one vehicle. When the federal tax credit vanished at the end of 2025, every electric car in America instantly got $7,500 more expensive in the eyes of the buyer overnight with no change to the sticker. The EV6 didn't get worse. The deal got worse. And the EV6 lives in the most brutally competitive corner of the market. It's shopped against the Hyundai Ioniq 5, which is basically its mechanical twin, against Tesla, against a flood of new electric crossovers, all fighting over a pool of buyers that suddenly stopped growing. Kia even gave it a mid-cycle refresh to freshen things up. Added range, tweaked the styling, didn't move the needle. Because the problem was never the product, it was the collapse in EV demand and a price that no longer made sense without a subsidy propping it up. Here's the part that should perk your ears up if you're shopping. A 449-day supply of a genuinely good, genuinely quick electric car means the discounts are enormous. Dealers are sitting on EV6s they cannot give away. If you were ever going to buy an electric Kia, this is the moment the market hands you all the leverage. That's a good car sunk by bad timing. This next one is a car sunk by its own company's decision-making. Number 4, Jeep Wrangler 2-door. Here's a fun one because it exposes something most people never notice. The 4-door Jeep Wrangler sells just fine. It's an icon, it prints money, it's everywhere. But the 2-door Wrangler? It's sitting with a market day supply around 282 days, and it's the version quietly rotting on lots while its longer sibling flies out the door. Why? Because the 2-door Wrangler has become a vehicle that makes no practical sense to the people who can actually afford it. Think about who buys a new Wrangler in 2026. It's not broke 20-year-olds, it's 40-somethings with families and money. And a 2-door Wrangler is genuinely impractical. A tiny back seat that's a contortion act to climb into, almost no cargo room, a rough ride, and a price that, once you option it up, lands uncomfortably close to the far more usable 4-door. When the 4-door costs a little more, but gives you actual doors, actual seats, and actual trunk space, the 2-door becomes a want, not a buy. And in an era of high interest rates and $40,000 plus Jeeps, want doesn't get financed. There's also the money problem underneath all of it. Wranglers hold their value legendarily well used, but new, fully loaded, at 2026 interest rates, the monthly payment is genuinely eye-watering for what's essentially a rugged toy. So the 2-door sits, the impractical version of a vehicle bought mostly by people who need practicality. If you want one, the dealer's motivated. If you're smart, you're probably looking at a lightly used one anyway. All right, that's the bottom 4. Before I hit the top 3, if you're getting value out of this, hit subscribe. I break down exactly which new cars to avoid and which ones dealers are desperate to dump every single month. Now, number 3 is where this list stops being about crossovers and starts being about the death of an entire era. Number 3, Dodge Charger Daytona EV. Dodge bet the whole muscle car legacy on going electric, and 2026 is the year we found out how that bet is going. Badly. The new Charger line is sitting with a market day supply around 377 days, and the electric version specifically has become one of the most public flops in the industry. In the first quarter of 2026, the gas-powered Charger outsold the electric Charger roughly 7-1. 7-1. Dodge sold about 1,672 gas Chargers against just 240 electric ones, and the EV's sales had collapsed about 88% year over year. After the tax credit died, one recent quarter saw only around 346 electric Chargers sold in the entire country. Let that sink in. Dodge took the Charger, a nameplate that used to move 20,000 plus units in a single quarter back in its Hemi V8 days, and built an electric version so unwanted that dealers have been slashing prices by more than $25,000 off some trims just to get bodies out of the coupe. The entry-level electric RT was quietly killed for 2026 after piling up on lots by the thousands. The remaining electric Scat Pack starts around $70,000 and delivers a bit over 240 miles of range, which is a hard sell to a muscle car buyer who wants noise, drama, and a road trip without 3 charging stops. This is the story of an automaker that misjudged its own audience completely. The die-hard Dodge faithful want a V8 soundtrack and tire smoke, not a silent EV pumping fake engine noise through the speakers. And the EV crowd was never going to buy a 2-ton retro coupe with mediocre range. So the electric Charger ended up appealing to almost nobody, and Dodge had to scramble to bring gas engines back under the new 6-pack name just to have something people would actually purchase. It's a genuinely fast, genuinely capable machine sitting on lots because the company forgot who its customers were. And if you thought a company misreading its buyers was bad, number 2 is a company that barely bothered to build a new car at all. Number 2, Nissan Rogue plug-in hybrid. This one is almost hard to believe. The Nissan Rogue plug-in hybrid is carrying a market day supply of over 1,000 days, roughly 1,078 days. It sold about 55 units in the last measured window. 55. For context, the regular gas Rogue is one of the best-selling vehicles in America. So how does a Rogue, end up sitting for nearly 3 years' worth of supply? Because it isn't really a Rogue. The Rogue plug-in hybrid is a rebadged Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid. Nissan needed a plug-in hybrid in a hurry, didn't have one ready, and so it took its alliance partner's Outlander, swapped the badges and some trim, changed the grille, stitched Rogue into the sill plates, and sent it out the door. And here's the part that kills it. They're charging about $5,500 more than the actual Mitsubishi it's based on. The Rogue plug-in hybrid starts around $46,000 and climbs past $50,000 for the Platinum. The Outlander plug-in hybrid that it's a near exact copy of starts in the low 40s. It gets worse when you look closely. This rebadged version can't even DC fast charge, and you're limited to a slow level 2-wall charger that takes around 7.5 hours to fill. And the warranty is shorter than the Mitsubishi's. Nissan covers the powertrain for 5 years or 60,000 miles, while Mitsubishi covers the same hardware for 10 years or 100,000. So you are being asked to pay thousands more for the same car with worse charging and half the warranty coverage, wearing a badge that doesn't even match the shape of the vehicle. Nissan itself reportedly expects to sell fewer than 10,000 of these in all of 2026, and the market is doing the math for them. It's badge engineering at its laziest, priced with breathtaking optimism, and buyers have simply refused. It's a genuinely capable plug-in hybrid poisoned by pure greed on the price sticker. Which brings us to number 1, the single, slowest-selling new car in all of America and the most shocking name on this entire list. Number 1, Toyota BZ Woodland. If I told you the slowest-selling new vehicle in the entire United States was a Toyota, you would think I had lost my mind. Toyota is the company that cannot keep a Camry or a RAV4 in stock, the brand where the fastest-selling cars in America are almost all wearing that logo. And yet, sitting at the very bottom of the sales charts, dead last, is the 2026 Toyota BZ Woodland. Its market day supply is an almost comical 1,152 days. There are nearly 1,900 of them parked on lots nationwide, and dealers moved just 73 in the last 45-day window. At that pace, the current inventory would take more than 3 years to sell. So what is it? The BZ Woodland is Toyota's stretched, outdoorsy electric crossover, basically a longer, more rugged-looking version of Toyota's electric SUV aimed at the adventure crowd. On its own merits, it is fine. It has 375 horsepower, standard all-wheel drive, more cargo room than most electric rivals, and it can even tow 3,500 pounds, which is rare for an electric vehicle. It is a perfectly competent Toyota. So why is nobody buying it? 3 reasons, stacked on top of each other. First, the price. It starts around $45,000 to $47,000, and here is the brutal part. Toyota sells a near-identical cousin, the Subaru Trailseeker, that is built on the same platform and costs roughly $5,000 less. Toyota is essentially competing with its own corporate twin and losing on price. Second, the range. The BZ Woodland manages around 281 miles on the standard tires and drops to about 260 if you get the all-terrain rubber. That sounds okay in a vacuum, but its direct rivals embarrass it. The Chevy Equinox electric vehicle, the Tesla Model Y, and the 2-wheel drive Hyundai Ioniq 5 all crack 300 miles or more, and several of them cost less. So the adventure electric vehicle has less range than the competition and a higher price. For a vehicle whose whole pitch is going farther off the beaten path, running out of juice first is a fatal flaw. And third, the timing. This thing launched into the exact moment the electric vehicle market fell off a cliff. The federal tax credit was gone. Interest rates were high. Buyers had cooled hard on electric crossovers. Toyota, the world's most cautious electric vehicle company, picked the worst possible moment to launch a niche, higher-priced, shorter-range electric wagon, and the market responded by ignoring it almost completely. It is a genuinely strange sight. A Toyota with dust gathering on the hood, the single most ignored new car in the country. Now here's the twist that ties this whole list together. Every single one of these 7, the Blazer EV, the Genesis G90, the Kia EV6, the 2-door Wrangler, the electric Charger, the rebadged Rogue, and this dead-last Toyota is a slow seller for a reason that has almost nothing to do with whether it's a good vehicle. Some of them are bad, but several are genuinely excellent cars killed by bad timing bad pricing, a dying body style, or a company that misread its own buyers. And that's exactly why a smart shopper should be looking at this list, not laughing at it. A 1,152-day supply doesn't just mean nobody's buying. It means the dealer is trapped, the manufacturer is piling on incentives, and the person who walks in, knowing the numbers, holds every single card at the negotiating table. So the next time a salesman tells you a car is moving fast, and you'd better hurry, remember these 7. Somewhere out back, on that same lot, there is a brand new car with 3 years of supply sitting on it, and the guy pushing you is quietly praying you'll take it off his hands. Know which cars those are, and you stop being the one who's desperate. If this saved you from a bad buy or pointed you toward a steal, subscribe, because I do this every month as the numbers change. I've got a whole breakdown on the used cars mechanics secretly buy for their own families right here. Drive smart, do your homework, and never, ever let a lot full of unsold metal convince you that you're the one who needs to hurry.